Donna. I know. You want to say Sona? Yeah. Or you want to say S-H-O-N-A? Really? Yes, it is. They gave 100 cents. You know, I'll say whatever you want me to say for $500, but it's not.
Further on up the road, you find out I wasn't lying. Further on up the road, I was gonna hurt you.
What? Oh, come on.
Someone's gonna hurt you like you hurt me. Further on up the road, darling, just you wait and see.
And we had one show at Winston there. They could go live. Oh, they loved it. Because I had to go buy another $3,000 computer. And that was like the fourth time I now got Apple for that. I made it Friday.
Well, the week's work's done and the weekend's here. I'm up at dawn, gotta make it clear. The hunt is on, I'm feeling that fire. Got FOMO bad and I'm down to the wire. Rolling out in the morning light, chasing that beast that's out of sight. Got my spot all picked out right, gonna score that bottle tonight. Oh, but the whiskey tubers got there first, left me standing feeling cursed. No JD, no Wild Turkey's best, no Russell's 15 left on the shelf. Guess I'll see if I like the rest. Charlie, Jeff, and Rob SS, sipping up all the liquid joy. Cast 529 got the last sweet sip. Guess I need to learn to double click and hit scribe quick. I walk in the store, see a big guy there. I ask, did you score? What did you say?
I can reach out. That could be one of our things we do. You know, we're talking about doing these commercials or these ads or these videos for these different products. I can reach out to a manufacturer that makes it today, get one, and you do the video. And sit there and go, oh, my. I'm riding the bike and going,
Put the glitter in my hand and burn it.
No doubt that.
All right,
that
no, hold on, Torp. It does not say who is in my ass. Oh my God, it does. If you separate it, it just says who's in my ass.
In my ass.
Oh shit.
Who in my ass?
Sub to Bourbon and Ballz and find something new. So I'll raise my glass to the whiskey crew. Those tubers know just what to do.
Okay.
Welcome. Muted or
All right.
not muted?
No, we're unmuted now. Apparently, we had a hot mic earlier because I got a couple of text messages from you all. So, luckily everything was good. So, all right. As you guys can tell, we have a third person with us tonight. Bill McBrayer from McBrayer Legacy Spirits. Welcome to the show, buddy.
Thanks. Really happy to be here, and it's going to be a lot of fun tonight.
Yeah, so we got some stuff to go over tonight. Obviously, with the brand new release of The Judge, and Lord knows you guys have heard me talk about this at just nauseum because ever since we got to participate in the blending, it's been we've liked bourbon. We liked McBrayer for a long time now, and it won our 2024 Bourbon of the Year. So we're excited to have you here.
Yeah, thanks. It's great.
Okay, cool. So let's say hello to the chat real quick, and we'll get going. Jeff, can you see it?
Yes, I can.
All right.
Stan, welcome, Stan. Mr. Lopez. See, David Tanko, welcome. See, scrolling down there.
Mr. Lopez is here.
Yeah.
Nice. Stan's here. Sweet. Mr. Tanko, see here. Top Jimmy's here. Good evening, gents. Yes, good evening to you. Brian and Shauna, I know Brian's here from Cast 529. You met them.
Hey, Brian, good to see you. Or here to see you on there.
Yeah, you met them at the thing. Oh, there we go. Tom Black says, yes, hot mic. You are correct. Boy, that would have been funny if we were telling jokes and things that are not appropriate. But then again, since when has that stopped us? So anyway, so Gandhi, cheers to you. Thanks for coming on this evening. Life in the Patio. Cheers to you. Appreciate you guys coming on. David B. Appreciate you guys coming on. Let's see here.
Top Jimmy, I think I Top Jimmy.
You know Top Jimmy?
I think so.
Okay. Yeah, he's new to us.
Yeah.
So all right. Well, let's we'll give you credit for that one. Nothing happens. Carrie Lips, yeah. Hi. Thanks for coming on. Everybody say hello to Carrie Lips. I think she might be a first timer here on Bourbon and Ballz. So everybody give her a nice Bourbon and Ballz welcome. Let's see here. We got Whiskey Bill.
Whiskey Bill.
Hey, we haven't seen him in a minute. Appreciate him coming on.
I had a note from Whiskey Bill today too.
Oh, you did?
I did.
Oh, nice.
John Legalvo, we need you to respond to, we'll send you an email. We might have had a mix-up on some bottles.
Oh, yeah. So last week we sent you some samples, and you and Cats 529 won samples, but for some reason Brian and them got duplicates of one sample.
They
So
got two of the
Old Line.
Yeah, the Old Line Spirit rum cask.
So there's a good chance you got a duplicate of something.
You got the sherry cask, but let me know.
All right. CA Scotty, cheers to you. Hope things are well out there in California. Tommy Adams, thanks for coming on. Cheers to you. Yes, we are all the weirdest. Yes, you're right, Carrie. There's no other way to explain this channel other than say we are the weirdest. Hey, our new Patreon member, Alan Adams. Cheers to you.
Welcome, Alan.
Thanks for coming on, and thanks for joining our Patreon. And then you are now entered into future drawings, and also you get the free shipping, as I mentioned, our Patreon. For anybody that orders, the judge number 5, email us. Save yourself some little bit of shipping, and I can get that out to you, and it will be signed by him truly. Keith Miller, cheers. Hope you. Oh, nice. He did get a sample. It was the Burger King sample.
Nice.
Hope you did enjoy that. That was a good pour.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Cheers to you. Thanks for coming on. Let's see here. A little old fashioned.
Hello.
Cheers. Thanks for coming on as usual.
Bob.
And there's the OG himself, Bob. Cheers, buddy. Hope you're enjoying the games tonight. If you could, keep me posted as far as what the scores are. I really appreciate it. I've been watching the NBA playoffs.
Okay.
I generally don't.
I was gonna say I can't get into the NBA. I don't know. Since McHale and Larry Bird days.
Okay.
Been some upsets in this round.
Oh yeah. So, what sports are you?
Well, I'm a football and baseball guy.
Nice.
Don't really watch the NBA, but Cavs are doing well.
Yeah,
but
Cavs
they're
are
not doing well right now.
No, they're down 0-2.
They are, and the Celtics.
Yes,
down 0-2.
boy, they deserve to be down 0-2. They were up 20 in both games, and they blew both leads. So, when you do that, yeah. So Crappy Cat, cheers to you. He bought a ticket to the meetup.
Yeah.
So don't forget, guys, June 7th is the meetup for Cast 529. We will be there among some other people down at New Riff. Should be a great time.
Sean, if you want to post that link for anybody who wants to purchase a ticket,
Yep.
feel free to post that up here. We'll tag it.
Oh, hold on here. Speaking of, I gotta do our giveaways.
Yeah.
So hashtag McBrayer, by the way, for a free sample giveaway. You guys can go ahead and start doing that. We'll do the Old McBrayer and Cedarbrook lineup. And then
started on the maybe started it on the
oh no, it collects.
okay.
We found that out later, didn't we?
I think so.
And then for our $5 super chat, for each $5 super chat, we'll get your name into a drawing. And this is a pretty good one, actually. And you'll see how it all ties in once we get Bill talking about as far as McBrayer. But we're going to give away a sample of Judge number 4, the newly released, or not even newly released, yet to be released.
Almost.
Exclusive on this channel. Can we say that?
Yes,
Yes.
we
Okay.
can say that.
Okay, exclusive on this channel, batch number 5, and then we have E.H. Taylor barrel proof, and then E.H. Taylor single barrel as part of tonight's giveaway.
Just real quick from TikTok, the Bourbon Life says congrats on the new release, Bill.
Oh, nice.
Mark.
So he looks forward to catching up soon.
Yeah, those guys are great.
And then if you can, Mark, come over to YouTube.
Yep.
And enter the free sample drawing. I'm just doing a little shameless plug.
Yeah, why?
Shauna, cheers, and I know you're on your way back from a T-ball game. Appreciate that.
Man, I remember them days.
Hello, Shauna.
And then, Mr. Richie J, my Mississippi friends. Man, they got. Have you ever heard of Crittenton Distillers?
No.
Crittenden. They distill their own stuff down in Mississippi.
Oh, yeah.
Real good craft distillery.
I'll check them
Yeah.
out.
Yep, they're really good. Gandy, of course. I think I already said hello to Gandy a few times actually. So he gets a special hello then. All right, I think we are through the hellos. Brian Smith,
Hey,
Hey, Brian.
Brian.
welcome. I appreciate.
There's Jeff Robinette.
Hey, Jeff Robinette, cheers, and thanks for showing up in chat. He's the reason why we met. Well, yeah, he's the reason. Yeah,
Through the bottle. Yeah.
yep. So
Fantastic.
yeah,
Thank
exactly.
you, Jeff. I have a new fan, obviously.
Yeah, you
In the
do.
last year.
Our bourbon journey. Yes. Hey guys. Yeah.
Wayne and Rebecca.
Yep. So appreciate you guys coming on. Nice bottle review, by the way. They did batch number 5, the Judge, the other day. If you guys haven't checked them out, go over to Your Bourbon Journey. That is their channel, and I would highly recommend check out their video, and then other videos that they also do.
Just wonderful people.
Yes, exactly. All right. Yes, Bill will hang out with anyone. You are correct. Yes.
Hey, Tom.
So the middle chair is a huge improvement. Were you always at the edge of the chair or something?
What's that?
He said the middle chair is a huge improvement.
Oh, you don't know.
So, hey, Tom Morrow from Limestone Farms. Cheers to you. Thanks for coming on. I appreciate you.
There's my buddy Jeff.
Oh, yes, Jeff. Great. Yes, it is. I'm telling you, we're so excited. We've been geeked up about this for weeks as far as you coming on. And we'll definitely get into that here in a minute. But I do want to say hello to everybody in the chat.
Of course.
Miss Lori J., cheers to you. My other Mississippi friend, appreciate you coming on.
There's a McBrayer.
Oh, yes. So, yeah, Michelle from, yep, there you go. That's how they know you. As far as,
yeah, from Houston. Yeah,
nice.
Good people those guys are.
Yeah.
And there's a McBrayer.
Oh, look at that. Hot Springs, Arizona.
Yeah.
Whoa. Any relation?
Art.
Well, we're all related.
Oh, are you?
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely.
Yeah.
All right.
Nice. That'd be funny if like someone came on and you like find like a lost love or lost not lost love. Sorry. My bad. My bad. I didn't mean to say that. I meant like a lost relative. Not a lost love. We would have to probably go off air. So my bad. I didn't mean that part.
My wife is watching.
Lost relative is what I meant. I did not. Okay. So, anyways.
There's a lot of McBrayers.
Okay.
Very supportive.
All right. I know. Oof, we dodged that one.
We haven't even started drinking yet.
No, we have not. Bourbon Nerd, thanks for coming on. I appreciate you. Silly Yorkie. Yes, thanks for coming on. Appreciate you coming on. Oh my goodness, Chris. I'm just trying not to fumble the rest of the stuff. So I think, but Bourbon Hunter Lee. Stephen Scone. Thanks for coming on. Appreciate you guys for coming on for the special event that we have this evening. Yes, that judge box does look awesome. There we go. There we go. I don't block it. You know, we have to do our ad. You know.
Yeah.
Put our sponsors in here.
Hey, Keith, welcome.
Yes, Keith Glandon. He was the one that commented about when I gave him a sample of this.
Oh,
said that your batch 5 was next level.
Next level. Well, we took that term with us.
Yes. So we'll announce that. Was that part of the password?
Maybe.
Okay. All right. And we'll let you announce that here in a minute.
Okay.
All right. All right. So, Top Jimmy, thanks for the awesome super chat.
Thanks, sir.
McBrayer bourbon is fantastic. I think I have every expression. Oh, really?
Wow. Awesome.
1 through 5.
Yeah. Thank you.
Wow. So he's been with you from the beginning.
Yes.
Nice. That's awesome.
Batch 1 is like the unicorn.
It is the unicorn, right?
For a lot of people. Yeah.
So, all right. So Bloody 81, cheers. Driving and listening. Hey, you know what? You can drive and listen. And also, we're also going to clip some of this and put it on Saturday for a standalone interview. Then also, we're going to have it on Spotify as well. Yep. So for those who want to try it that way. Hey, Brian Barrett's on. Brian, buddy, how's retirement? It's been a while since I've seen you or heard from you. So thanks for coming on. You picked a great night to come on because you could be possibly winning some samples. And we'll talk to this guy too if we ever get to him because the chat room is alive and well. I shall say. So yes. So I think ordered 2 bottles already. Looking for the Q&A. Yes, if we ever get to it. So I think Jeff Reuter. Let's go Reds. Oh man, they just frustrate me.
A lot of reasons to drink bourbon watching those guys play.
Like these 1-0 games are just killing me. Absolutely killing me. John Lagoa. Oh, yep. There you go. Jeff. He did get 2 samples of the old line sherry finish. So when we did packaging, we messed it up.
We will send you the Caribbean.
Yes. And then Sean and Brian will send you some old line sherry finish. Courtesy. We messed that up. Yes. Let's go Knicks. I tell you what, that was Keith. He's from New York. So he's got everything to be proud of right now to be up 2-0 on the Celtics.
Mm-hmm.
That's absolutely amazing. Yes, he is from the Sunshine State down in Florida, just living up retirement. Crappy Cat,
Oh, okay, yes. So I think
I like Mr. Richie J's comment there.
Charlie, good to see you back at the big boy table. Yes, I got promoted back. I got demoted last week. I am now back,
For good reason.
and you all cannot do a darn thing about it.
Jenny B, welcome.
Stan sipping on Art of the Spirit single barrel cask strength. I've never heard of that.
What is it?
Art of the Spirit single barrel cask. Have you heard of that? Interesting. Must be local. Jenny B, cheers to you. Thanks for coming on. Here we go with the hashtag McBrayers. Man, I'm about 5 minutes behind. We will get to it. Let's see here. Yes, but trying to get, well, you may be able to win tonight in the super chat if you want to join that for $5 super chat. We'll get you a chance to win E.H. Taylor barrel proof. Yes, we will hopefully get you some swag there. Maybe you'll be able to win some stuff. Rye Guy, cheers to you. Thanks for coming on. Scott Brown, hey, thanks for coming on. Appreciate you for coming on this evening. I promise we're getting to the end. It's very chatty tonight. I think it has something to do with the person in between us.
It might have something to do.
It may have it. Yeah, you might be right. Yes, Jeff, you are looking forward to the release on the 10th. Yes, I cheers to Zach. Thanks for coming on. Dude, we have a guest here? Be nice. Don't be say like, we all gotta be polite. We have guests in the house. We can say that next week. Good Lord, I swear, leave it up to him to say something. All right, David Tanko, thank you for the super chat. I appreciate that. Yes, Gandhi, much appreciated, always, buddy. Yes, I have enjoyed everything I have tried from McBrayer. Congrats on the release.
Oh, thank you.
Nice.
Elijah Craig.
Yes, Elijah Craig is here. Cheers to you. Thank you. Rob, the SS supervisor. Cheers. Thanks, buddy, for coming on. Hope your basement's coming along. Mr. Bortner, cheers to you. Thank you for coming on. I appreciate you coming on. Show me the proof. Cheers. I appreciate you coming on. Looks like so there's some Reds down. See, look at that. Reds down 1-0 already. That'll be the final. All right. I keep saying I think we're done. Hey, Silly Yorkie, thanks for giving us a super chat. I appreciate you. Mr. Bortner, thank you as well. You get a whiskey. Yes. You know what? I would love just to give everybody a sample of whiskey, but it's just not possible. But we will do our best. Stan Savick says Art of the Spirit is a local 12-year-old bourbon. Interesting. Thomas Anderson, cheers. Thanks for coming on. All right, it's 1-1 now. All right. We are caught up.
Right, so real quick, let me go.
Oh my God, you and
some quick announcements.
Hurry up.
I'm going quick.
We're paying him by the minute.
Let's see here. May 15th, we have Watch on Proper. That's next week, ain't it?
Yeah, my math is right.
Yep. May 22nd, we have Liberty Pole, and May 29th, we have Mia Albal. She used to be with
JT
Melick, but she's now on her own. Let's see. Going into June, right now we've got 2 set up tentative for June 5th. We're looking to have the University of Kentucky back on because we had Seth on with Herb.
Jeff, your mic isn't on.
My mic is on.
Hold on. Keep talking.
Man, oh man. So you turn me up.
Oh, you know what's funny? It's not even powered up.
So how do they hear us?
My voice just carries.
But to what microphone?
I don't know.
Unreal.
All right.
We good now?
Yeah, you're good.
Okay. Starting over again. May 15th, we got Watch Hill Proper. May 22nd, we got Liberty Pole. May 29th is Mia Albal. And like I said, she was with JT Melick, but now she is on her own. She's got her own TikTok channel. June 5th, we're open, but we've got 2 tentatives. we're looking to try to get University of Kentucky back on when we had Herb and Seth, and we lost Seth because of internet connection. So we're looking to have them back on, or Ed Bly. It's all a matter of the bottling for Ed Bly, whether or not June 5th will work for him yet. June 7th, we've got our meetup.
Keep going. Let's go.
At New Riff. June 12th, we got Whiskey Thief. June 19th, we got Copperworks Distilling. And big one.
Hold on before you do that.
Okay. June 19th, we got Copperworks Distilling.
Oh, this would help. Hold on before you do that.
Wow. Are we set up now?
I think so.
Check, check, check.
Yeah, everybody can hear you.
All right. Oh man! What did you call Brian? What did you call Charlie last night? A button something or other.
I forget what the term was.
Oh, I remember what it was, but I'm not gonna.
Oh my goodness gracious! This is every week. Every week, dude. Something just goes on. I didn't even turn the mics on. I just flat out forgot to turn the mics on. It's on now.
The big announcement, June 26th.
Tentatively, people.
Yeah, it's a 50-50 chance that he's going to be here. It depends on
his availability
and some other things. Alan Jackson from Silver Belly Whiskey with his daughter Maddie and Robbie Goldsmith, I think is what his name was. Sorry. He's the CEO of Silver Belly. They will be here on June 26th, and we'll keep you abreast as to how AJ is what he would like to be called working to get on the show or not. So, but we'll keep you updated on that.
All right, people are getting restless.
All right,
let's talk about McBrayer. Damn it. So, all right, so Bill, I know a lot of well, we know your story,
sure,
and we got to know you through some bourbon festivals and some mutual friends. If you would explain to people as far as, let's just start from the beginning because I think it all came from your namesake. Am I right?
Yeah.
Okay. So let people know there.
So it's almost, I think, 14 years ago now. My daughter was in junior in high school, and she was thinking about trying to go to a small college and try to play volleyball. And I was looking at somebody told me to check out Center College down in Danville, Kentucky, and I really liked it. She didn't want anything to do with it. But I was telling my dad about it. And he's like, well, you know, the McBrayers gave some away at school. I'm like, well, who are you talking about? He said it was the McBrayer and the whiskey business. And so at the time, I'm looking for the McBrayer scholarship. If there's a scholarship, my kid's definitely applying.
Yes.
And so there wasn't one. And so I started Googling McBrayer whiskey. And when I was a kid growing up, I knew there was a brand called Old McBrayer. And it was actually bottled here in the late 70s, early 80s in Cincinnati.
Okay.
Off of Paddock Road at the old Jim Beam plant there.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
And so, he would give it. He was a sales guy, and he'd give it to his customers at Christmas time. And next time they see him, he say, "Bill, thanks for the gift, but man, this is really bad."
Yeah.
They said, we don't want this anymore. And so I just thought Old McBrayer was rot gut nasty whiskey, and so when I Googled McBrayer whiskey, I found this blog post written by Jack Sullivan on prepro.com. And if you're a history guy about bourbon, that's a fantastic website. Mm-hmm. And it was W.H. McBrayer, the judge of good whiskey. And I read this article and how he had established a distillery in the 1840s, put Kentucky bourbon on the international map when he won the gold medal in Vienna, Austria, and in 1873 and the centennial in 1876. And his brand Cedar Brook was one of the most famous brands in the world. And I was like, wait a minute, what is this?
Yeah, right.
And just got obsessed with it. So I don't think I worked for 6 weeks. I was just on Google, started doing all this research. And we have these family historians. I got into our history books of the McBrayers and literally just got obsessed with it. Started tracing the brands and found out that when National Distillers sold to Jim Beam in the 80s, Jim Beam let our trademarks expire. And so there was the old McBrayer brand and there was the Cedar Brook brand. And so I said, I'm going to try to register the old brands.
Right.
So that's kind of how I got started down this path. And it hasn't really stopped since.
No.
So I know that I guess one of the things that interests me, the most is just the tie-ins to the other legendary bourbons that we all know today. And that's part of why we're doing a super chat tonight, is tying that into E.H. Taylor. Why don't you talk about that as far as how that became and how that's all tied into the McBrayer family name?
So the McBrayers are from Lawrenceburg, Kentucky. So you have Wild Turkey, you have Four Roses. Back in the day, you had Bond and Lillard, you had W.B. Saffel, you had T.B. Rippey. McBrayer influenced all of them. And so Bond and Lillard, when they first started, they made yeast and they would sell it to McBrayer for his distillery. W.B. Saffel, T.B. Rippey was his master distiller. He helped him buy his first distillery in the 1860s. He helped him buy it. T.B. Rippey bought him out. That long history takes you to Wild Turkey. So that's now Wild Turkey. W.B. Saffel, which is a brand that's also owned by Sazerac or Campari, right? He was McBrayer's master distiller for 25 years, and he helped him build his first distillery in the late 1880s or so. And so,
man, you cannot make this stuff
so
up.
had that. So then his cousin was John McBrayer, and then John McBrayer was also into the distillery business. And then he had started some small ones, the J.H. McBrayer distillery. He went over to Newmarket, Kentucky, and bought a distillery in the 1870s, and he called it the Old McBrayer Distillery. So there was two McBrayers. There was W.H. McBrayer, who was the most famous. Then there was John McBrayer, he was like in and out of many distilleries in his life. Right. And so he later sold that distillery to W.H. McBrayer. So he had the Cedar Brook Distillery and the Old McBrayer Distillery. Then he later sold it to his distributor, W.W. Johnson. Who then later sold it to E.H. Taylor. And so E.H. Taylor actually owned the Old McBrayer brand for a while. And the bottle of our Old McBrayer, that label was actually made when E.H. Taylor owned it, and it was made at the old Castle and Key, was now the Castle and Key Distillery down in Frankfurt.
So you guys now have ties with even that resurrected facility they have down there.
We do, and they actually talk about it when you're on the tours. And so, so then McBrayer, he had all these brands were part of the McBrayer family at one time. And so, I went to register the brands. So I maybe talk about our trademarks. Trademarks is not easy. And so found an attorney, and we tried to trademark Old McBrayer, and I tried to trademark Cedar Brook. Well, Cedar Brook got denied because there's a wine called Cedar Brook. So when you have beer, you have liquor, or you have wine, the names are all similar. So you can't say Old McBrayer beer or Wild Turkey beer. Right. It's called the same. So that got denied. But on all his bottles, it said W.H. McBrayer's Cedar Brook. And the brand started as the W.H. McBrayer Distillery. So I said, well, let's register that. That's this product. Later on, after many attorney bills, I was able to trademark W.H. McBrayer's Cedar Brook Bourbon, excluding wine. And I was able to resurrect that brand.
But the whole premise was you wanted to keep the family name.
I just wanted to own the family labels.
Correct.
I didn't really know I wanted to make bourbon. And so Old McBrayer actually got contested. So this attorney says, well, somebody's contesting the Old McBrayer label. And I'm like, who's that? And they said it was the Scotch Whiskey Association. I said, well, what do you mean? They said, well, if you put their argument was if you put McBrayer whiskey on a bottle, you would mislead the public. It came from Scotland because McBrayer is a Scottish name. I said, well, you tell them to pound it. And they said, well, Mr. McBrayer, you would probably win, but it would probably cost you $25,000 to defend it. And at the time, I just wanted to own the labels.
Right.
So I was like, all right. So they said we could settle it. So we had to make sure it was called bourbon or made in the United States on the bottle. So I was like, okay, fine. So we had Old McBrayer and we got W.H. McBrayer originally. So then about 6 months later, the attorney sends me another bill. I'm like, well, what's that for? And they said, well, did you put your trademarks to use? And I'm like, no. What do you mean? They said, well, you have to use a trademark. You can't just own a trademark without using it. I'm like, oh, can I put McBrayer bourbon on a shirt?
Right, sure.
He said, well, no, you said you were making bourbon with theirs. I'm like, oh, all right. Well, how long do you have to do that? She says, well, you got about 5 years or so. We can extend it every 6 months. You have to write me another check and we can extend it.
Goodness gracious.
And I was like, all right. So then I I said, well, honey, I guess I'm going to get in the bourbon business. Right. And so,
Either that or we lose the family trademark.
right. And so I said, honey, I don't know anything about it. So I'm just going to start drinking a whole bunch of it. I'm going to figure it out. And that's how I really got in the bourbon business. Right. And when you have teenage kids, there's a lot of reasons to do product research.
That is amazing. And then, during that time period in the 1800s, right, from what I understand, there's evidence that you have found, right?
Yeah.
Between communications from McBrayer, if you want to talk about that.
Sure.
In the age.
So what's really awesome is that the McBrayer family, we've been studying our genealogy here for generations.
Mhm.
So we had research for over 100 years in this country of just the McBrayer family name.
Mhm.
And so there was one of the historian guys was in Michigan, and I went up to see him, told him what I was going to do. And he said, well, are you going to use the old family recipe? And I'm like, what are you talking about? Right.
Right.
And they said, well, we have this recipe, but they didn't really tell me where it came from. They just said they knew this number. And so I'm like, oh, okay. And so then I was really deep on Google one day.
Okay.
And I found this blog post on Bourbon. It was on a blog site, and it was Chuck Crowdery and Michael Veach.
Oh yeah, Michael
back
Veach.
in 2005.
Yeah.
Right, so it was like a message board.
Bourbon Beach.
Oh yeah, Michael Veach, right? They're both in the Bourbon Hall of Fame.
Yeah, yeah.
And they said Michael Veach found this letter from McBrayer to E.H. Taylor in the Taylor Hayes files. That's at the Filson Society, which has in Louisville, that has a bunch of bourbon artifacts.
Okay.
And so he is curating the files, and on the back of this letter. So when E.H. Taylor first started, according to Michael Veach, he bought either Old Crow's, Dr. Crow's whiskey, or McBrayer's whiskey,
right?
Because it was known as the best in Kentucky.
Nice.
And so on the back of that letter, it had the mash bill he was using at the time.
That's amazing.
It was an 88% corn mash bill. And they said somebody needed to remake this bourbon, and they need to go in the barrel at 105 proof like they did in the old days. So I'm like, there's the business plan.
Right, there it is.
That's what we're going to make right there. And so I told my dad, I said, hey, hurry up and retire. We got to figure out how to make this whiskey right here.
Yeah.
And so we went to the trade show down in Louisville, probably, I don't know when that was now. And they were, doing the stills, right? And there was all these stills. And I got talking to these guys. They said, oh yeah, we were $250,000 into our still setup before we ever started making whiskey. And I'm like,
yeah, that's quite the investment before you start turning over.
This is my I just want to own the family brands. I've got to fulfill my trademark, right? And so went from that, started talking to some people around town, and they connected me with the people at Wilderness Trail. And so Pat and Shane, I took that letter to those guys, and I said, hey, can you make this? I said, well, sure, we can make it. I said, well, we want to use some heirloom corn, and my dad's got a friend that grows this Bloody Butcher red corn. Okay. And I said, do you think that would taste any good? They said, well, yeah, a guy at Woodhat uses Bloody Butcher corn. And that was back in 2018.
And Bloody Butcher corn, you've got to be careful with it.
You do.
Yes.
You can really do a bad job.
We don't really tell people until after they try it. Especially in Kentucky.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
And so, so they said, yeah, it tastes good. I said, well, great. Can you just make me one barrel so I can fulfill my trademarks? They said, well, no, we can't do that. We got to do more than that. And so they had their 18-inch column still. And they said, we'll do you one run. We know who McBrayer is. This is kind of a big deal. And so we got 10 barrels that first year. And so 2018, I had 10 barrels laid down with this mash bill.
Nice.
So I called the attorney. I said, hey, we made some whiskey. They said, so am I good? They said, well, have you sold any? I said, what do you mean? You got to sell it? And so, so this is 2000 this is probably 2017. 2016 is when we put those down. I'm sorry. 2017. And well, you need a federal license to sell alcohol. So then you had to go to the feds to get a license. Then I had to call the state.
All I wanted is the name.
Yeah, and I said, so I called the state of Ohio. I said, hey, I need to sell some bourbon.
Yeah.
Can you help me? They said, well, no, we're a controlled state. We're not going to help you. Go to Kentucky. So you go to Kentucky, talk to the ABC in Kentucky. They said, yeah, we'll let you in our state, but we need your in-state license from Ohio. And I'm like, well, I don't have a license. So I had to get them all connected and all this stuff. And so then when that distillate that we laid down got to be 1 year and 1 day old, it then becomes Kentucky bourbon. right? It's bourbon when it hits the barrel,
Mhm.
but at 1 year and 1 day aging in Kentucky, it becomes Kentucky bourbon.
You know what? I'm not sure if I knew that.
I don't think I did either.
Little history lesson for you all at home.
1 year and 1 day it becomes Kentucky bourbon. So then we were putting this in the bottle, little 375 milliliter bottles, had some really like generic stickers made with our logo on it. And Dad and I, we were trying it, we're drinking it. And we're like, gosh, I think it tastes pretty good for a 1-year-old bourbon.
Yeah.
And we were down there, and there was a gentleman that was I won't say his name. He was a retired master distiller from Woodford.
Okay.
And he came by. He was a great guy. And I said, you want to try it? And he took a sip of it, and he looked at us real funny and said, "What'd you do to this?" We said, "Well, nothing, man. We're taking out that barrel and putting in this bottle." And he said, "Guys, I got to tell you, this is some of the best 1-year-old bourbon I've ever had." I'm like,
wow. Coming from him, right?
Right.
And
so I'm like, okay. So then, I said, well, we got to put more barrels down. So then we put 12. We got 12 barrels the next year.
Okay.
And then I'm like, okay, this is kind of cool. Let's get real aggressive. And then we put 24 barrels down the following year. And so,
Lord.
And then we got a farmer to be growing the corn for us in Kentucky, and then 30 something barrels the next year. And then I'm like, this is kind of cool. I'd like to figure out how to do this maybe someday when I retire. And then we got 80 barrels, and
before you know it,
then it was 300 barrels, and my wife kept looking at me like, "What are you doing?" And so anyway, that letter prompted us to make this bourbon, and then that's what became W.H. McBrayer.
Okay,
right.
So the judge specifically, right? And of course, this is what we're celebrating this weekend, May 10th. Is that correct?
Yeah.
For the release of the judge for those who are in that Legacy Club, correct?
Yeah. So what we've been doing is we dropped this to our Legacy Club, which you can sign up on our website
for free.
For free, right? We'll send you a newsletter once a quarter or so, kind of let you know what we're doing, things we have in the works, new releases that are coming out, and then we can have it shipped to about 40 states, and then we also do a pickup here in Covington at Revival. Okay. And so everybody gets the first chance to get it. We will distribute some of it eventually in Kentucky, and a few restaurants and bars in Ohio if we have any left. So the mash bill, I know, and for whatever reason, I didn't have it handy when I did the video, and I apologize. If you want to tell people at home, what exactly is the mash bill of the judge? Yeah, so this is an 88% corn mash bill, 6% rye, 6% barley, and which is an unusual mash bill for a Kentucky bourbon.
Yeah,
It's more of a Tennessee whiskey type of bourbon.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you actually go to our website and you go to the blog, I have a story there. It's the letter behind the mash bill. And
your guys' website, I might add, it's like a history book.
Well, that was about 10 years of research before we put that website together. My
goodness, that is quite that is quite the book you got there.
So the 88% corn, is it that Bloody Butcher corn?
Yeah.
Or? Okay.
Yeah. And so my everyday job, I'm in the loading dock and door business. And, that business I started out of my condo as a sales guy almost over 29 years ago now. And this thing became more of a passion project, right? Mm-hmm. This business. And the purpose of starting this business really was to figure out how to retell W.H. McBrayer's story, because I thought it was just such a wonderful lost story.
Oh, yeah.
One of the most historical figures in Kentucky bourbon. And the goal was to get him in the Bourbon Hall of Fame. And that was really the whole reason I started this business. And it is interesting when you start a business with purpose versus about trying to make a living and pay your bills. It's such a different experience. Mm-hmm. It's just a lot of fun. And
it's like you said, it's more fun because you're actually enjoying what you're doing, mm-hmm. and it's something different, and it's not a grind every day.
Yeah. and William Harris McBrayer, he was a beloved figure in Anderson County, Lawrenceburg, mm-hmm. Kentucky. He was the first judge in Anderson County. Mm-hmm. He later became a state senator. Mm-hmm. He had the merchant store there in Lawrenceburg. And if you can imagine the 1800s, there was maybe 2 buildings in downtown Lawrenceburg, right? Yeah. He raised cattle. as well. And then towards the end of his life, he put the rail line through Anderson County, which was a big deal, getting the rail line through there. And so he was very philanthropic, devout Presbyterian. And so, you know, there are aspirations that this brand, this bourbon business, you know, we have, you know, passion projects that we're part of and things that we're raising money for. And you know, hope it can have some purpose behind it.
We have a question from a viewer, Silly Yorkie, Whiskey for Me, asks, how many expressions does McBrayer have available now?
Yeah, so we have 5 different bottles, I think is what you're asking, right? So we have our Cedar Brook brand and our Old McBrayer brand. But then we have 2 of each of those.
Here, let me take this off the screen here. There you go.
Yeah, so we have the Old McBrayer brand. We have a bottled and bond brand, label, and which is fun because this label, that is a replica of a label that we had in our family around 1910. This gentleman, he was a drywaller working on a bank in Utah. And he took this drywall down and found this old empty bottle of Old McBrayer, and he sent me the bottle. And it was this exact label with this, you know, saying on it. And I'm like, well, that'd be an awesome way to resurrect the brand. It's the same label that was also, I call this our movie bourbon. So this bottle was in Untouchables and Deadwood and all these different bottles. And then the blue label we did as a single barrel. So big single barrel strength.
Yeah, I like that a lot, by the way.
I'm
a big proofy guy too.
You are. I mean, those are like 119 proof, 118 proof. This is the bottled and bond. It was just a historical way of bringing back the Old McBrayer brand. And then Cedar Brook is our other label. So we have 100 proof Cedar Brook is what they used to do for Cedar Brook. And then we also did a barrel strength of that one, which has been really good as well. So
now, isn't there some portion of the sales of Cedar Brook go to the restoration of the bridge?
Yes. Yeah. So I guess I can get into that story next.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah, you can. Yeah, we do. Yeah, go ahead and do that.
You want to do that one?
Yeah, we'll jump all over. Well, we'll jump everywhere. There's a few other questions in here too.
Okay.
But go ahead.
So we started with W.H. McBrayer. We got the Old McBrayer trademark. We got that one secured, right, with those 2 things. We got these launched. Then I was able to get Cedar Brook and got that. So that was really quite a few years of work, right? And getting the website launched and the brands out there. So then, to be in the Kentucky bourbon space, to sell direct to consumer, that's really the goal, right? Because, when I sell this to a retailer, the retailer and the distributor is taking 55% of the retail price of this product.
And that's an interesting thing. I didn't even know that, as far as when you see a bottle on the shelf, it's like how much of that is consumed by everybody else but you.
Well, so think about this $100 bottle. I generally get $45, and that's in a $20 box.
Jeez, okay. So that's a thin margin.
I think I want to be a distributor.
Yeah, right.
So anyway, I was looking for some property, and then, this story is a little bit longer. The long story short is, I had the chance to see the old Cedar Brook distillery site in Lawrenceburg. And this family was able to take me out there that owns the property. They've owned it for 25 years now.
Okay.
Wonderful people.
Okay.
Took us up on a hillside. They think McBrayer's built a home there in the 1700s. They were one of the first families to settle in Kentucky.
Wow.
Right. And then took us down Cedar Brook Creek, where the spring is. The spring has never gone dry ever. Right. And inside of the bank, you could see where the old pump house foundations were. And just down the way was the foundations of the old distillery. There was like an old wall and some other stuff. And so had a great time with Danny and his wife, Celeste, and it was just awesome history. And he called me the very next day. The attached farm that used to be part of the distillery went for sale. He told me to come down and check it out. And so on this piece of property, was the rail line that McBrayer put through there. And the city had already funded it to be a Rails to Trails project. And so the first phase was being done that year, and it stops at the Cedar Brook Bridge that looks down over the Cedar Brook distillery site. And then if you go over that bridge, you end at Wild Turkey site. And so
man, you struck gold with that.
I was like, I called my wife. I said, honey, I think this is the property I need to do for my hobby. And
nice hobby.
And she said, well, that sounds really neat. You need to do that. I said, well, it's 130 acres. And she said, well, you better figure that out. So
yeah, there are a few people in here asking about that land that they know about it, as far as which you actually tied in right on cue as far as how you got that land. If you could elaborate on that, as far as, so where are we at with that, and what can you tell at this point?
Yeah,
what can you tell us at this point?
Well, so I worked with an architect. We were able to put together a master dream site plan of what I'd like to do with that property, at least, get it started. But, the goal is to have a building that I can have some type of still in it, maybe just even a 50-gallon still. To be a distiller in Kentucky, you have to make 600 gallons of something. It can be vodka, it could be gin, or it could be bourbon. It doesn't have to be that to sell bourbon.
Interesting. No, I didn't know that.
And so, and I'd like to also start doing some of our own bottling at some point. Right. And then, I also want to age our barrels, right? I'd like to have our own rick house. So, there's a lot of people that have been trying to be in the bourbon business, right?
Yeah.
But really, as we can talk about when we blended our barrels together, right? All the barrels are different, right? Distillate is one thing, but the type of barrel you put it in, where it's out in the rick house, makes a difference. Well, when you contract distill, it's very hard to control those things, right? And so if I can get I can get the best barrel, right, and then I get to manage where it goes in the rick house, and I can baby it, nurse it, right?
Could you imagine what that would be?
Well, that wouldn't it be that will allow us to control some things, right? That's going to make our bourbons different than maybe somebody else's that might even have the same distillate, right? And then you work on the art of blending, and you get to have, you can control some of those variables. I think is a great way to get started in this business without figuring out how to make whiskey too. Right. That's a whole other thing, trying to learn how to run a plant.
Well, I tell you what, I can't wait to follow you along and see how that plans out. I mean, we're all rooting for you, and man, what a fantastic journey that is. Well, speaking of journey, Wayne or Rebecca, I can't tell which, they're asking, as far as outside of McBrayer, what bourbon is your daily drinker?
Well,
I would imagine it depends on the day of the depends on what kind of day you had and all that kind of stuff, right?
Well, I got to tell you, I've become pretty snobby about drinking other bourbons, to be honest with you. Now, there's brands I really admire. I admire the Old Forester brand. I admire the Michter's brands. They're legacy type brands. One of the other craft ones I really admire is Peerless. Same type of legacy story brought back by their family, and they're making their own distillate, and they've been doing it now for 10 years.
Something like that.
And it's good.
It is very
that double oak that they made,
that's his favorite.
I mean, it might be one of my favorite double oaks out there.
Oh man,
right. And so, but honestly, if I have a go-to, it's Old McBrayer Bottle and Bond. If I want something that's just kind of mellow for the night, I'll drink the Cedar Brook. And then if it's, I really want something special that night, I drink the WH. Right. If I had a really nice dinner, especially like a steak dinner, and after you got that salty steak, man, WH is fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, let's. I know we haven't had a pour it on. We've been talking. I wouldn't mind.
But yeah, let's talk about, while we're pouring, let's talk about how we went through the blending. We had 42 barrels.
And then while we're doing that real quick, we're going to take a commercial break. We are going to take a prize break, meaning that we're going to go ahead and spin a wheel and do a drawing. And this shouldn't be a surprise to you. We're going to end up having 2 free drawings tonight. We tend to do that. So Jeff went ahead and made 2 free sample packs to give away. So we're gonna give away the first one right now, and then, like I said before, this will be the McBrayer lineup as far as when it comes to Cedarbrook and also Old McBrayer. Let me get this game started. Now you have to be here in chat in order to win. Let's, ruh-roh. Are you kidding me?
What'd you do?
Hold on. Hashtag McBrayer. I think there's only one entry. What?
So you didn't start it, and now we're.
Oh. So
Okay.
those who are in chat right now, this is another Bourbon and Ballz moment for you all. You all need to do hashtag McBrayer again. So if you would, hurry up and do it, and we'll do the thing. I'm sorry. Yeah, for some odd reason. I'm not sure what happened.
Over on TikTok.
Yeah, do it again. Sorry.
Let's go boating. Yeah, I will. I'll send you an email about the Driftless Glen Rye that he was going to send us, if you recall. Remember, he was talking about the barrel proof rye that they have.
I don't know.
You don't remember? All right. Well.
Cheers, Andy Schumacher. Thanks for joining.
Hey, Andy.
If you want to win anything, it's hashtag McBrayer. And yes, CA Scotty, yes, hashtag. Maybe the next hashtag will be hashtag shit show, because I didn't turn on the hashtag. So, but you know what? That's par for the course when you're on this show. Everybody knows that. So it wouldn't be fun without us screwing things up.
No, it wouldn't be. No.
So, all right. So go ahead. I'm sorry. Continue on to your conversation of as far as the blending, what we did.
Yeah. So we had 42 barrels.
Yeah.
And one afternoon, there was how many? 6 of us.
Yeah, we had John, Brian, 6 or 7 of us.
Yeah, and then
right?
we had Sam from he used to be with MGP
Mm-hmm.
as a scientist,
Mm-hmm.
and he helped get Penelope going. There's
He
one
did,
brand
yeah.
still.
So
And, so y'all. Go
well,
ahead.
that was the first time I brought in somebody from the outside to help maybe profile the barrels. Right. So we had some science behind batch 5 here, and it helped because when I blend, I just drink a bunch, right? And I keep trying them, and I try them and try them,
Right.
and my liver said I probably need to get some help.
I can only imagine what that evening was like when you're doing it just by yourself on batch 4.
Batch 4 just came together. I was like,
I know, but you did it by yourself.
oh yeah, I did them all Well, I've had other help, and then I don't really listen to anybody, and I just do it.
Well, it's your company. You do what you want, right?
Well, dad helps too.
Okay.
And so, but this was going to be a little bit bigger, right? 15 barrels.
Mhm.
And I mean, I was bourbon of the year. I had to
You
follow it up,
had to,
right?
No pressure.
I mean, I was like,
Yeah.
So, but it was great. And it's one of the second time, we've had some guys, I had some guys help me do the Cedarbrook, and that was good. And I really like the white label Cedarbrook.
Yeah.
And, but blending is such an art, right? So we have the science behind it, right? So our friend Sam, right?
Mhm.
He profiled all these barrels, and then we came up with 30 barrels that he rated as 5s or 4s, right, and some 3s. But it was and so then there were some 2s and some 1s, but mostly they were all pretty good. And so we started by taking all the 5s and put them together, and we took the second batch of 15 or whatever it was and put them together, and we both tried them, and they were okay,
Right.
but they weren't as good as batch 4. And so so then we took half of each and we put them together, and it was like, okay, that was good. And then we started playing around with it, right? And we started saying, well, what do we like? We want more of the caramel, and we like some of that
Mhm.
the allspice and some of those different things. And then we got to the point where somebody was like, I just want a little bit longer finish. And,
Right. I remember us saying that.
right. We always like, okay, it's getting some good profile. Like it's really starting to go from the front to the back to the mouth, right? We're starting to hit it in the back of the throat a little bit. And then we found some different ones and we tried some really high proof ones and we didn't like it.
Right. Yeah.
And so
No,
then
we did. You're correct. I remember that.
We went even higher than this 106.
And we backed it down.
And we backed it down. And then it was like, all right, it's pretty good. I won't forget this. You know, Charlie was like, I don't want to say it, but I think I like it as good or better than batch 4. And I swear you were cheating on your girlfriend. I was like,
I felt bad.
I was like, he feels bad. He like really likes it, you know?
Yeah.
And so I was like, all right, we might be onto something here. And so we kind of played around a little bit more.
Yeah.
And then we were starting to get a bit of fatigue. I mean, we've been at it, what?
It's a couple of hours.
3 hours?
Yeah, we started drinking.
And so
in the middle of the afternoon, mind you.
it's a tough job. Isn't it?
Yes.
And so, but we had a lot of fun, and that is really what I have found that's really amazing. It's the art of blending is what makes bourbon great, and it makes you admire those other brands, how they can be so consistent, because all the barrels are different.
Yeah, that's what you're saying as far with the Rick House and all that kind of stuff, and hopefully that will change in the future. Stan Sabick, real quick, has a question. McBrayer and Wild Turkey going to be neighbors. I think you clear that up with you.
Yeah. So when you know that walking trail, right? It's about a mile and maybe a half or so. You will be able to start at the future McBrayer distillery someday if all the planets and stars align. Yeah. Right. And
well, you got the land.
I do, but it's still not cheap.
No. Okay. Well, no, I get it. I get it.
And so then and then you could walk and you'd be able to walk over to Wild Turkey.
Yeah.
Right. And hopefully along that trail, there will be some historical markers talking about the different things and how they're connected. Right.
Man, I eat that stuff up. I love that stuff.
It was like, it's a trail on the bourbon trail. Right.
Yeah, literally.
And it's, there's so much history there. And then, when you go to Four Roses, you go across the railroad tracks, and those were the tracks that McBrayer put through there. And so that was known as the McBrayer crossing. And so when you go over those tracks, you look to the left, it says McBrayer, the sign is still there.
Oh, wow.
And then where Four Roses is today, that was McBrayer, Kentucky, named after the judge. And so if you look at some old postcards,
oh, really?
When it was the old Prentice Distillery, it'll say McBrayer, Kentucky on it.
Wow.
And so that was named after the judge.
Now,
I'm learning stuff still.
Yeah. So this blend is a blend of, what was it, 8 and 9 year old bourbons?
5.5 and 6 and
5.5, 6. Okay.
Yeah. And what I love about this bourbon, and I don't know how other brands are doing it, but this is a very approachable 0.06.
It is
0.8.
It is.
Right. But that liquid came out of the barrel just like that. We didn't do anything to it.
Right.
We ran it through some filters. It's got this nice viscosity to it. It's got some good legs on it. It's thick, coats your throat.
It's extremely thick, and that's my first reaction when I had this final product. Is it reminded me of a little bit more proofier of a Michter's 10-year. At least that's for me. And you thought it was better than a 10-year.
I thought it was better than 10-year.
So we do have another question. I want to keep up these questions. How do people get started in the whiskey/distillery industry? Is it taught in schools, OJT, family traditions? What's your best way to say that?
I just started drinking it.
and there's only one school in the country that actually teaches distilling, and that's
and Bill knows a little bit about that too. Or we talked about that before we got on air. As far as
well, you got the James Mead Institute, right? Yeah. There's a class you can take in Kentucky at the I think it's Whiskey University or Bourbon University. There's another place, right? You can take a course for several thousands of dollars, and they'll help you understand distilling, right? And so learning to distill and to make products, that's pretty tough, right? I really admire the guys that just started out craft, just starting to figure out how to make their own. We had some help there, but we had brands and we had a story, and we wanted to make sure we were putting something in there that was good, but we wanted something unique as well. And so we started out slow. I don't know. I'm glad we didn't just go get 15-year-old barrels and start putting it on there and label them, because I don't know how you follow that up. Right. Yeah. And so to build a brand, it takes time.
No, it does.
It takes time, and I think you can speed time up for some sales by getting some old barrels and putting your name on it. And I know what's really hot right now is that stuff that came from Wild Turkey that was made by Buffalo Trace. It's 15 years old. I mean, it's fantastic.
So
right?
when it comes to McBrayer,
I think so. Yeah.
and when it comes to McBrayer, Silly Yorkie's asking, what is the quintessential nose palette and finish when we identify maybe a McBrayer?
Well, all three of those expressions are different, right?
They are.
They're,
But maybe to the judge, obviously we're celebrating the judge this weekend.
yeah.
So maybe focus on that for a moment. What's your coming from the man himself?
Sure.
What's your answer to that?
Well, I think it's all about the profile. It's the taste. I mean, yeah, we're going to get some vanillas on here. We're going to get some allspice. That buttery note that I think a lot of people like. It's kind of evolved from a butterscotch into more of a bourbon, like a buttery, almost like buttered popcorn, I don't know, kind of thing, right? But right now, we still get that little chocolate note, which I love in our bourbons, right? There, whether that'll continue in the future, I don't know. I think every year the product's getting a little better, right? So, Wayne and Rebecca, they're on here. They did a really nice job last year. They took all four of them and they did a profile of all four of them.
Oh, nice.
And they had a video about it. And then they just did one on batch 5. But, they're all a little bit unique, and we haven't really dialed into this is going to be the profile forever, right? Because I have about 450 barrels of this aging now.
Okay.
Right. And we're kind of figuring out, gosh, if you sell 50 barrels of that a year, that's 9 years worth of bourbon. Now we're starting to do some single barrels of this now. So we have our first barrel pick of a guy that just did this one, but we want to make sure we have stuff if we have our own place. And I don't know where it's going to go, right? But vanilla, allspice, that buttery note, some chocolate notes. There's like a stone fruit, there's an apricot type of note in here, maybe. Yeah. Right. Yeah. Some years I get a cherry note. Some years that chocolate cherry note is a little bit more strong. That. Yeah. Batch 4, we had two of our very first barrels were in batch 4. And so batch 4, those first barrels, the corn was older when we got there. And so it almost had a funkiness to it, which it was a good funk. Okay. But it was different. Yeah. And so that I really can pull those.
That's why batch 1 is unique in itself, right?
It was, right? Right. And but now I put batch 1 against these other ones. It's like, it's the third or fourth one, or it's not like the first one anymore.
Right. Okay.
And so
next question for Bill. And I don't mean to whatever. I just know we have some questions to get through, and we got some drawings to get through too. And I don't want to keep you guys up all night. And we're having a great time again. I do appreciate you coming out.
Oh, this is great.
Your time is extremely valuable, and the fact that we were able to lock you down here and threaten you and everything else to come here.
I will tell you, life has been busy. I think the question's about spending time with my dad.
Yeah. So how that's got to be just one in a million.
It is. So Dad's going to be 78.
Yes.
And he was at the barrel.
He was, and I love one of her stories, and maybe you can shed upon about that barrel. But anyways, go ahead. He's at that barrel.
Oh, yeah. Anyway. And so, it's been great. So I don't know. It's been 12, 14 years we've been talking about this, right? First I told him retire, and then I'm like, all right, let's figure out how to do this together. And those are special times, right? And so my son's been able, and my daughter a little bit, has been good. Obviously I always cherish those times, right, with Dad and getting to do this. And he's still spunky. Like he still gets after it every day. And
he was great to talk to. Both times when we did the blending and at the bottle dump. He's a man that's got, I'm sure, more stories than I've heard. But,
he's got some stories.
But the one that intrigued me that I can't forget is the one that he talked about how he's got this special barrel he's got with him, right?
Yeah. So when we did our first 10 barrels, my brothers and my mom and my dad, we were all down there. We all signed the first barrel. So I said, "That's your barrel." right? So he gets to do with whatever he wants to. That's the only barrel we have left from the first year. And so, you know, who knows when he'll let us do
But
that.
he's got the most unique response to when I asked him when he's going to open it. Which
What did he tell you? I
told-
heard different things.
Okay,
over
he
the
told me,
years.
and he told me this twice now.
Yeah.
Same answer,
Yeah.
both at the when we were blending and we were at down at bottling, and I asked him about that barrel again. He said that he wants it at his weight.
Yeah, well, hopefully there's some left. But
Okay, but
it
what's
could be
the-
empty.
well, I told him though, what good is it for him?
I hear you.
And you know how selfless is that for him to do? And
Yeah.
I mean, that speaks to his character. But that's you know he's been sticking to that response last few times I talked to him.
I don't think he's gonna wait.
Okay, I think he needs to crack that bad boy open.
I do too. I will tell you this. You know, when we first started, I first started out, I had teenage kids, right? And so, you know, we'd go to like a sporting event, and afterwards we'd all go out to dinner, and I'd start telling bourbon stuff, and I think the guys all are eating it up, right?
Yeah.
And then my kid and my wife are like, Bill, can we go out tonight? Will you just not talk about bourbon? You're embarrassing us, right? And it's easy to embarrass your teenage daughter and your son, you know.
Yeah.
And so what's really cool though is that now my daughter's 28, my son is almost 25, and now it's cool, right?
Yeah.
And what they got to see was some silly idea sitting in my chair, right? Drinking bourbon, we're gonna rebring, and now it's real. Now it's still
real.
small, right? We're getting going, and I think the lesson is that you just keep working at things a little bit every day, and eventually you'll get there, right? If you just keep plugging along, right? And I hope that's a lesson that they got to learn from.
You basically
experience.
connect the dots,
Yeah.
As you go through your life, and you look behind you, and you realize how it all connects once you kind of observe everything.
Yeah.
Real quick before our bourbon journey, you do have a question, and I know I've been telling you guys that we're going to do our first giveaway, and we're going to do our first giveaway, and then we're going to get to your question here. So let's do this real quick before we start getting a mob scene.
Yeah,
as
so
far
let's get you this lineup here of the McBrayer lineup.
Yes, show people at home what
Pull this one
they can
away.
win, and then I'll get back to your question here in a second.
Got the weeded 100 proofer. We got the weeded single barrel. We've got the bottled and bond. And we've got old McBrayer.
Let me there. Yeah. So these are the four things that you guys will have a chance to win. So let's go ahead and do the first one. We're going to do two of these tonight, by the way, guys. But the first one, hashtag McBrayer. If you're not in it already, we're ready to roll. Let's do this. Hold on here. There we go. All right, here we go.
Man, it goes fast.
It does go fast. And the winner is, you got to be in chat in order to claim it. But the winner is Bourbon and Ballz 86.
All right.
Are you here?
I don't know if I've seen him in chat.
There he is. He's up there at the top.
Where?
Keep going up one.
Oh, he did.
There he is.
Oh my God, he just got in time too. He was the last one to enter.
So, are you still here?
Oh, for love of Pete. Heck yeah, he's here. He just freaking, oh my, that is so funny. He was the last one to enter the contest, and he freaking wins. Nice. Yeah, no kidding, buddy. That's awesome.
Hey,
That is, I guess last person always gets you something. Way to procrastinate.
Yep. And if you don't mind, send us your.
Yeah, I don't think we've done that, right?
Yeah, we don't have your mailing address, so email that to us at bourbonandballz@gmail.com, and we'll get that right out to you.
Yes. Well, I wouldn't say right out to you.
Well, it's.
I'm just kidding. It's already packaged. We're kidding. Today's Thursday. I will mail it on Saturday. I get crap for that.
Yeah.
It will. There'll be times, and you guys know this. There'll be times I'll have samples, and they win it and all that kind of stuff. I'm all excited. We got it all packaged up, and I just forget about it, and it'll be in my trunk for like I don't know 4 or 5 days. And well, shoot, Stan will attest to it. I flat out forgot. He waited like 2-3 months.
Oh my!
And he had to email me. So I don't do anything intentionally, fellas or gals. I don't mind being bugged either. So just bug me and say, hey, numbskull, I didn't get my stuff.
Yep.
And you earned it. You earned it by watching our channel tonight. And please press that like button if you haven't already. It does help our algorithm, believe it or not. It's a whole different story. But anyways, all right. So back to the show. We're going to do another drawing too. And I'm going to tell you what it is. We're going to do a different hashtag. But in the meanwhile, we had a question, I believe it was about pot still.
Oh, if I like pot still or column still.
Yeah, and I think I lost it. Where was it?
That Susie McBrayer? That was just down a couple New Yorkie one.
Here it is. Found it. Right here. Do you prefer column still or pot still? Would you use both in the future?
Well,
you answer. I have an opinion.
Yeah, I mean, column still is really traditional bourbon today, right?
Mm-hmm.
I have had some very good pot still bourbon.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, from where? Well, the reason why I say it, I don't mean it that way. Well, I do mean it that way because I've had some.
Well, I will tell you, the very first stuff I got from Wilderness Trail was made on their pot still.
Oh, really?
Yeah, their first releases were all on their pot still.
Okay,
and it was good. Like, you can make good pot still bourbon.
Boone County is pot still.
What's that other brand that's smaller down in Kentucky? He's got a weeded one. He's doing a really nice job, and he has a pot still. But you know, the goal would be to have a column still. Everything we have is made on a column still now.
Yeah.
So, you know, a pot still would be great to learn how to maybe make some stuff and play around with bourbon.
Right.
But I think if you're going to be in the space, column still is the ideal way to go if you can afford it.
Right. And, you know, it also has to deal with whether if it's a copper or if it's stainless.
Mm-hmm.
So that gives you a whole different lineup and stuff.
There are so many variables to
Yeah.
making distillate a certain way, right? And the yeast and the grains and then the column and the plates and all that stuff. I mean, that's just a whole other animal.
Yeah.
Right. And so we know some people that make some good stuff, and we want to try to partner with them the best we can, but make it unique for us. So there's sourcing barrels, and then there's contract distilling. Right. We want to contract distill our stuff. We want it to be unique to us the best we can. Right. We've done some sourcing of some barrels to get started, but now they're making it for us, right, to our specs, and we're going to tweak a few things with it, and then hopefully, you know, several years from now, it'll be unique to us.
Yeah.
I don't mean to laugh. I'm just going through these comments, so I'm listening. I can multitask.
Don't forget your wife who helps. My wife is wonderful.
I didn't, Susie, I don't know you, but I'm sure you're a lovely lady. I did not mean what I said earlier when it just slipped about,
So let me tell you, I got to tell you, it is not easy being married to an entrepreneurial guy.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean,
I bet your mind just goes just everywhere, and you're just constantly thinking.
Well, I have a problem, right? And so, you know, like, I don't know, when we first got married and I'm doing sales and I'm trying to start this business, and I'd come home and I'd be like, man, I got this great order today. It's gonna be great, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then my wife would maybe go buy a couch or something. I'm like, well, what are you doing? She goes, well, you said you got this nice order. I go, well, yeah, we're still broke. Like, we're broke. And so, you know, and at some point along the way, I was like, honey, what are we doing? She goes, well, how much bourbon did you buy this year? I'm like, you can do whatever you want. You're fine. My wife is the smart one of the two of us, and she's a hard worker, and she's allowed me to do what I wanted to do, and it's been fun, and she's all about helping me out, and she's been helping me out quite a bit at the dock and door business here lately, and
that's awesome.
And we just celebrated our 30-year anniversary last year.
Congratulations.
And so it's worked. Right.
And then also, Susie, to you, I don't know you, but I'm sure you've got to be an awesome person to be with Bill. Happy Mother's Day to you and everybody else out there, and all the mothers in the chat. Definitely happy Mother's to you all. Mother Days to you guys coming up here on Sunday.
Well, and I have to admit, I give my wife some scribbly notes of some things about what's going on, and then she really writes the newsletters. Like, she's really the brains behind it.
Yeah, but aren't they all though? Aren't there all the wives doing that?
Yes,
yes,
I think they are.
Yeah, they are. And where would it be?
Yeah. Yes.
You know, without the wives, they'd be the equivalent of what Bourbon and Ballz is on the live show. They'd just be all over the place and forgetting stuff.
Yeah.
Forgetting to put the mic on. All kind of forget to do the hashtag, which, by the way, the new hashtag is Cedarbrook. So if you guys are interested to do round 2 of the giveaway, we're going to do the Cedarbrook, and then we'll also get to the Cedar chat or Cedar, the super chat here.
Super chat.
So, anyways, again, $5 for a super chat in order to get included into the drawing for the Judge Batch 4, Batch 5, the E.H. Taylor Barrel Proof, and also the E.H. Taylor Single Barrel. If you caught us earlier, you understand the relationship between E.H. Taylor and how important that was to McBrayer. Perhaps you could make the argument that maybe E.H. Taylor wouldn't be where he's at if it wasn't for McBrayer.
Right. Well,
The one thing you forgot is was it early 1900s? I'm sorry. I get excited. I'm sorry.
You're right. Keep going. You're right.
Early 1900s. You were in that. I'm not you. You'd be like 130 years old. Oh yeah. You'd be 230 years old. So, anyways, the world contest. Right.
Well, he put Kentucky bourbon on the international map, right?
Explain that
And so, so that was in Vienna, Austria, in 1873. He won the gold medal, which put Kentucky bourbon on the international map,
Right.
and that was a big deal. And then in 1876, he also won the gold medal at the Centennial here in Philadelphia. And so, you know, when you think about the world trade fairs back then, they lasted for weeks, and people from all over the world would come and horse and buggies and ships and all these things. And so, you know, Kentucky bourbon became popular around the Civil War, right? And so what happened was you had the people from the South and you had people from the North. They were in this neutral state. They'd have some whiskey because whiskey was hard to get during the Civil War, right? Actually, it was a big deal, part of the Civil War, to be honest with you. And so when they would go back home, they would remember that whiskey from Kentucky. And so, you know, and McBrayer was right in the middle of it. You know, there was we allude to it on our website a little bit. So his dad was Andrew McBrayer, and there's some kind of postcard at the Filson Society that he made the perfect batch of whiskey, and that was, you know, before the 1847, right? So we say we established our distillery in 1847. We don't say since 1847.
Okay,
right?
Gotcha.
And I think that was very intentional.
Yeah.
It was on the bottles,
and
because, you know, they came over the James Harrod settlement.
Okay.
One of the brothers was a surveyor, surveyed the Wilderness Trail. Some say before Daniel Boone, actually. Went back, got his dad and his 4 brothers, and they came and they were granted, you know, thousands of acres for their service in the Revolutionary War. And then established some of the government around Lawrenceburg. And so, and they were Scottish, right? So they probably were making whiskey. And then, but they established in 1847 their distillery. And so, you know, these brands like, you know, Old Forester, and they're like 1870, and I'm like, they're not very old, right? I mean, they're like a whole generation later than McBrayer. And some of the stories about Elijah Craig and some of his other stuff,
a lot of it is just a story.
It is a story.
It's you know, we talked about this with like Boone County, you know, made by ghosts. It's not made by ghosts, and it's a story.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
That sells the bottle.
And so, you know, I thought our story was pretty big deal. Being a McBrayer, I got obsessed with it, right? And then I started going to Kentucky, and these guys were like, "You're McBrayer." Like, he was really a big deal. And so just telling his story, and then all these things just keep happening between the brands and then the mash bill and then the property, and it's like, all right, I just got to keep rolling here, you know.
Well, and what I was going to say earlier, you know, we talked about, you know, E.H. Taylor, but, you know, you've got so many other names that you can drop in there. You're like Mary Dowling.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, well, you have Mary Dowling was from Lawrenceburg, Kentucky as well. Now the Dowling family was around when McBrayer was there. She came a little later, after her husband passed away, and during Prohibition is when she kind of made her name. But, you know, then he adopted his nephew. His nephew was C.M. Dedman.
Which I find that fascinating.
Yeah, he adopted him when he was 6 years old. His sister, right, Anne McBrayer, I'm sorry, Anne, right? She was very influential in his life, in her brother's life. She was older. And when she passed away, her son was orphaned. Her husband was Dr. Dixon Dedman. Their son was C.M. Dedman. And then he gave him the money and land for his distillery for his wedding present, right? And his brand was Kentucky Owl. And so you Kentucky Owl, you got WB Southwell, you got Bond and Lillard, you got TV Rippey, you got the influence, the brand's influence with E.H. Taylor,
Right.
you know, and all these other things that were going on. It was just like,
It's amazing.
and it's a story that was not told,
right.
that needed to be retold. And so, so that's what I'm trying to do.
Yeah.
Right. Tell the story.
Now, oddly enough, didn't Dixon help you?
So Dixon, when we did our very first batch, I said, Dixon, I got to put this in a bottle. And I said, well, you told me what to do. And I mean, and the guy is just, he is awesome.
Yeah.
Right. He's great. His brand 2XO is great that he's building. You know, he's just been a great resource, right, to kind of bounce things off of. He is my cousin, right? We are on the same tree.
That's I mean, this story is just, it needs to be like a Netflix.
But he's like a rock star, right? I mean, he's a rock star in the bourbon world, right? Yeah. And so, you know, if we need some advice, he's always been there and things. I'm really happy for what he's doing and what he's able to do with that brand.
Yeah, I hadn't had any of the 2XO stuff until we had that tasting.
Oh, 2XO, it's pretty good.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna lie. I had it with Gandhi at a bar, at his famous bar, that his little dwelling that he had.
Yeah.
It was good. Really good.
Well, I think, you know, one last thing before we talk a little bit more about batch 5, on our single barrel here, it says a favorite of Old Kentucky. And so that was on a lot of our old advertisements. And I was able to re-trademark that here just recently. So we are a favorite of Old Kentucky with the Old McBrayer brand. And so, so we've been building up all of our brand, you know, equity value, brand value, right? We're trying to get some good whiskey in the bottle, right? We're now, you know, starting to distribute a little bit in Kentucky. We're starting to actually get our brand out there a little bit, meeting more folks like you that have never heard of us, right? And it's been great.
I know we got people multitasking. Would you care to answer that?
Yeah. So for anybody that's here tonight, right? If you
special breaking news.
If you would like to order a bottle tonight before it drops to the Legacy Club, you go to our website. You can have it picked up or shipped, and the password is next level, which we
Keith Landon, you actually are now enshrined in Bill's thoughts, because you said that was next level, and he has taken and ran with it. So hope you enjoy that, Keith.
Yeah.
The password is next level. Is that correct?
Next level. Yep.
All right. I'm going to highlight that in the replace the pin message. Yes, there we go. So anyone's interested, they can go to their website and go ahead and order. And again, the password is next level.
Yeah, and we're real excited about this bottle.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Right. It's I think it's better than the other 4. And that's a big statement.
That is a huge statement. One real quick, I don't mean to bounce everywhere, but I want to answer some of these questions.
Oh yeah.
Tora, I know you have problems, stuff being shipped to you. I put in there's directions or there's instructions as far as a workaround on Cast 529's Discord. There is a section where it talks about bourbon channels, or go to our Patreon and go to Bourbon and Ballz Patreon. There is a way to do a whole workaround, and actually saves you on shipping, and it gets you a signed bottle from Bill himself. So go to our Patreon. There's instructions there as far to how to do kind of a little bit of workaround, especially for those who cannot get it shipped out to you. But visit our Patreon channel to see those instructions.
Did you like some more, Charlie?
Oh, I don't know why you ask. So hopefully that clears up the password. And I'm sorry, I didn't get to the chat earlier.
You're a rock star in the making.
Yeah,
that's very nice of her. Thank you.
Who said that? Your wife?
No, I think that was Rebecca that said.
Oh, nice.
That was nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, you do have my cell number, so reach out to me and we'll figure it out. So anyways, oh, look at that. Whiskey Bill's already ordered 2 bottles
Thank you.
of batch 5.
Thank you very much.
I ordered 2 myself. Well, I ordered more than that, but I'm keeping 2 of them.
Yeah,
One to bunker, because you got to have a bunker one,
absolutely.
and then one to kind of casually drink, but yet be careful with it, kind of thing.
Right.
You know, when friends come over,
It'll sneak up on you.
it will sneak up on you, because it's not like, and we said this even in our video, not to whatever, is that even for like a beginner bourbons that are just getting into it, they can enter and get to judge, and they won't be overblown with the proof.
Right.
And the unfortunate part I mentioned in that video is like, the sad part is they're going to think that every bourbon tastes like this, and it doesn't. But nevertheless, it's a great. It's more than just an entry way into bourbon, but what a fantastic job.
I have a lot of people that tell me when they have that box on their bar, they get a lot of questions like, well, what is that? I mean, it is unique. It's a little bit different box. It tells our story. We have on the inside there, we have a little bit of a we talk about a little bit being in the mash bill, and everything is serial numbered, so it's matched up, right? And so you know, we really like it.
That's wonderful. Let's do our other spin for the other giveaway, and I'm about half tempted to do another one, but we'll see.
Okay.
Well, Keith just gave me a great idea for another hashtag.
Okay.
Hashtag next level.
Okay.
That's going to be, by the way, Keith, if you're good with it, that'll be your next shirt. Keith is coming up on 3 months on the top tier Patreon, and he gets a t-shirt, and it's going to be a hashtag next level. Especially, Keith, that'd be great for you because you actually created that coin phrase. We'll send that out to you, and we'll have that ready for you by the time we do our meetup. How's that?
Adam McBrayer just said he purchased 2 bottles.
Thank you, Adam. I got to tell you, the McBrayer family around the country have been awesome.
Yeah, he said that 1 to drink and 1 for when his son turns 21.
Isn't that great?
Isn't that awesome?
It's so awesome.
Who would? I mean, would you ever have thought that?
No, and we've had a lot of McBrayers reach out to us, and they're so thankful that we brought it back, and they've been promoting our brand. What a great, it's just awesome.
Yeah.
Right. It's just so neat, really. And every time I do a release, I'm like, I hope somebody orders some bourbon this morning. And this thing just it's beeping, and we get all these orders, and it's really exciting.
CA Scotty just put in an order just now.
Yeah, thank you.
So you're gonna enjoy it, guys. Like I said before, and believe me, guys, by the way.
Oh no.
Yes, you know what's coming on. You know what's coming. See, we're gonna do the drawing, and we're gonna do the super chat. But before we get on tone this is so great. Hold on a second. This is so great. I can't wait to tell you guys. All right. So before you guys get on tonight, Bill found the bottle of fresh laying around here, and he started nosing it. And I said, dude, you got to taste it. And he was about to. And I was like, you know what? We got to save this for live.
I don't really want to.
I know, but you got to, in order to be part of the Bourbon and Ballz family, you have to be.
Can I say I got to say shit.
You're allowed to say what I can't say it. But you will be christened this in order for you to be part of the Bourbon and Ballz family.
I don't have to
no, but we're going to get you a pour. I cannot wait till Bill does fresh. That we don't do right now.
Okay, we're going to do that later.
Yeah, we'll do it. We'll do it a little bit. So, all right, going back to the, I was so excited about that. Sorry. Let's do the Cedarbrook hashtag giveaway. Guys, you have no idea how happy I am about that. All right, Cedarbrook. Here we go. All right. Let's see who the winner is. They have to be here. Winner is Mr. Lopez. Are you still here? Mr. Lopez. He's one of our OGs, by the way.
Yep, he is.
He's been with us for a long time. I appreciate that.
Come on, Mr. Lopez.
Are we here?
6 minutes. Isn't that?
Well, okay.
Is that revival?
Yes, he is.
There he is.
So, CA Scott, I know, like after all this, we're going to sit there and give him a punishment pour. It's, I just want him to experience it. It's not that, yes, I don't want to seem like it's a punishment pour because usually it's something that we've done wrong.
It's a step up from scope. I've never tried it, so
Okay,
I
you may like it. You may
know,
like it.
they are selling some bourbon somewhere to somebody.
Do we have Mr. Lopez's information?
We do.
Okay, good.
Mr. Lopez, you'll be getting that. And then we'll do the super chat here in a few. Step up from Claremont Steep. Yes. I'll drink Claremont Steep before we do that. But anyways. All right. What else we got to talk about before we get to that? And we'll do the super chat. What do you got?
Oh, me?
Well, seeing that I don't let you talk.
Yeah, you got first-hand view of that. No, I really don't have anything. I mean, I just want to thank you for allowing us to be involved with this batch, because this is phenomenal.
Well, it's great. I met you folks at the Frankfurt Bourbon Festival last year for the first time, and you came up and said, "Hey, you're winning some blinds. We'd like your bourbon. Can you talk about it a little bit?" And I'm like, "Sure." And it was I think it was live, right, on your show, and then I don't know, we got connected a month or two later.
Yeah, we sure did.
And then I'm like, "Well, where are you?" And
yeah,
you're like right up the street.
Right.
And so
that was amazing.
It was great. And then we came down, and then I got the chance to show you some of our history and some of the different things at my office. And and then, this kind of one thing. So I first off, I've loved getting to meet you. I've got to watch some of your show. You have some great guests, right, that you're bringing on, and it's a little bit of a unique spin compared to some of the shows out there.
Appreciate that.
And it's great, and I'm just honored to be here, and I was so thankful when we won Bourbon of the Year, and we've always thought and when we're at Frankfurt, some folks on the chat have been there. They come up, they've been there, and they're like, people are coming up to us like, "You guys have the best bourbon here at the show," right? And there's like 50 or 60 bourbon brands there, and it's pretty awesome, right, to hear those things. But then, we're like one of the best kept secrets, I think, around.
You are.
And so we're you all have helped get us out there a little bit. We're starting to get out a little bit more, and it's maybe time to tell people who we are, right? And we now have a little bit more juice, because we're out of the first barrels except the one for Dad. Second year barrels are all gone. We have a few of the third year left, and we're starting to scale up a little bit. And then we've got the other two labels, and we're trying to figure out what that looks like. And now we've got the property, and we just keep plugging along a little bit. And
I think following you, like we here we are following you guys. We weren't with you from the very beginning, but I think we caught you guys early enough to where we get to step back and watch. And we appreciate any involvement that you guys have given us. We don't deserve it. We don't.
Well,
I don't know how we fell into this, but we did. This is a bunch of dumb luck, and
I think
not a lot of choices out there for you.
Having a few extra, having a few extra people to say, "Hey, you all have a good palate, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you drink a lot of, you have a palate, right? And so, hey, what do you think of this?"
Yeah.
And before we do it, I always appreciate having other people to help me. I mean, listen, I know what I like, and I've been able to put some blends together. It's getting harder as you start making bigger ones, and you start to put, I put a lot of pressure on myself. I got to keep getting better every year, right? And then you start obsessing about these things, and you stay up at night, and you're like, oh.
So, Celia Yorkie, that's a great question, but I think it's a simple answer. But obviously, Bill's going to answer that. But they want to know how can we best support you?
Oh, well, thank you. Well, buy our bourbon and tell your friends, right? And share it, and that would be great. I mean, I need to do a better job. We did talk a little bit about the Cedarbrook Bridge, right? Every bottle of Cedarbrook, $5 is going towards that bridge. I need to get it set up on my website. We actually have the McBrayer Distilling Foundation set up. And so that money is going into that foundation that will give that money to the city of Lawrenceburg. They need about $500,000 to do the bridge. They've done the first phase. They're doing the third phase of the trail. And so that's a great way to help support us. Right. I need to get that story out there a little bit better on our website, and things. We do have a GoFundMe page for that as well.
I did see that.
Yeah. And so, but really, follow us, tell our story to people, and that's all we can ask, really.
Yeah, and a lot of times, like bourbons have a great story. A lot of them do, but when you can match it with an equally great bourbon, I think that's when you got something there, and that's what you got.
Well, thanks. I mean, and again, it's an evolution, right? Every year we want to get a little bit better. I don't want to come out of the gates super hot, and then you come back and go, well, that 15-year-old bourbon I just gave you, we don't have any more. We'll give you some 4-year-old bourbon now, right?
Right.
But if you start with some 4-year-old bourbon, and then you start getting older and older, and you kind of grow with the brand, and tell our story, and hopefully someday in the near future we'll have a building on that piece of property, and people can come see us, and we can tell our story, and it'll be fun. Right?
So Brian's asking smartly enough, what you doing on June 7th?
I have no idea. I don't know.
I would say this: if you are in town for whatever reason,
okay,
we have a meetup, and I'm telling you, people would love to see you at New Riff.
That would be great.
Where Brian and Shauna has rented out a room to where a lot of their viewers and whatnot, and we're going to be there too, just to kind of just hang out and just talk and just learn about each other. And so if you're around,
I got to
you're more
meet
than
them
welcome
at our barrel dumping, and
yes,
they're wonderful people, and I would love to come down. I don't know what I have going on that very minute, but I'll let you know.
I think basically they're saying it's an open invitation.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much.
So, real quick, Mr. Schumacher's asking, will you be at the Bourbon on the Banks this year?
Yes, Frankfurt. We are going to be there again. I hope we're in the same spot. I feel like we got this nice little spot there right at that corner. And Dad will be there, and some other folks hopefully will help us out.
Man, come up and say hi to them for sure, and tell them. I know CA Scotty's going to be there, and we're going to be there.
Yep, we're going to be there. And if you haven't gotten tickets yet,
are there still tickets?
There are still some tickets available.
Okay.
We do have a discount code. It is
B-Balls.
B-Balls with a Z.
10.
10, right.
Yep. I don't know how I remember that.
I don't know either. How long
there's merch that you sell, correct, as well?
Yeah, we have on our website, we have our store. I think somebody's asking for the
donation link.
Donation link.
Yes. We will. Is it on your website?
No. I need it.
What would that people have to look on GoFundMe?
They should be able to Cedar Brook Bridge Repair, I think is what it's called. Okay. And so, we have some shirts, and we have our Glencairns, and we have our book. Actually,
that book is amazing.
Yeah,
you have the book here.
I don't have it here with me.
He has it at home. You guys, you want to learn more about McBrayer? Get that book.
So that was my wife's.
Oh, she did.
My wife helped. She did.
That's an awesome book.
And my wife, she's super talented.
Yep. Tells you the whole story about McBrayer.
We were working on some different things, and we didn't. Want to lose any of our initial research. Okay. And so that's a coffee table book. We're a new brand with an 85-page history book, right? And so, and in the back of the book, he gives the genealogy of where I'm at on the family tree to W.H. McBrayer. I'm a 9th generation McBrayer. He was a 3rd generation McBrayer, and my son's the 10th, right? Wow. So that book is out there as well on our website. If you're into coffee table books around your house, it's pretty great.
I mean, you're what, Seinfeld?
Yes, a coffee table book about coffee table books like that. That was a great Seinfeld. So I love Seinfeld.
When you say that, it's the first thing that came to
mind. Absolutely. Whiskey Bill, yes, 2,750 bottles is in this batch.
So it is limited. Like you guys are already sold out. You guys been sold out of batch 4.
Batch 4 is now sold out. Yes.
Yeah. So batch 5 is expected to be sold out again, just like batch 4 was. So get them while you can, and that's why I got a bunker.
Yeah,
honestly.
And, generally we won't do another release until this time next year as well for WH.
No, so if you guys sell out later on this year, then we're just gonna have to
wait.
Ugh. I don't know if I like that.
Unless we do a barrel.
Well,
oh my goodness,
we've talked about that.
We can do
so I don't know if you heard the spillway, and I learned more about the spillway event in the last couple of months from people like Silly Yorkie and Life on the Patio. And it's a Mississippi. I think it's in Mississippi. It's a southern thing.
Yeah,
it's a big event.
Oh,
and she said she would be great to be. You need to get some ambassadors throughout.
I would.
You know,
We need
honestly,
ambassadors.
you talk about, of course, we're like the ambassador, but honestly, that's a good way to kind of grow your business.
It is.
Because I know what Tom, he's an ambassador for Limestone Farms, and we wouldn't know anything about Limestone Farms if it wasn't for him.
Yeah. Well, right now we only distribute in Kentucky, right? I actually have a group out of Arizona. We have a lot of McBrayers out there that have asked about us coming to Arizona. There's several in Tennessee, and we can't ship to Tennessee. So considering maybe those states to start going.
Still box though, right? You had
we're not we're very little through them right now. And so we're just the shipping is really through our website, right? Okay. And so Sealbox ships generally to the same states as our website as well.
Oh, okay. All right. Understood. All right. Let's see here. Thank you, Rye Guy, for doing the website for the gift shop. I have a nice pullover from you all.
You do? Great hat too.
Great hat too. Yeah. The pullover is very nice quality too, by the way.
Yeah.
Like,
thank you.
It's very good. Like I wear that stuff.
I wear it all the time.
Yeah. Well, I wore it at that couple of festivals, and they think I work for McBrayer, which I never told them I didn't. So, that was a great day.
Now, I'll never forget. I went into the restroom, and these two guys were in there talking about McBrayer, and I'm just going, I gotta record this. What did they say?
Well, it was a little strange that you're recording people in the bathroom.
Yeah.
So no, right, Silly Yorkie. Yes, I love supporting the newbies and the underdogs. To me, craft distillery is where it's at. I think, David B just ordered 2 bottles. That's awesome.
You, David.
Thanks for doing that. That's awesome. Bourbon and Ballz discount code. Again, it's BBalls10.
Yep. With a Z.
With a Z. Yes. Yes, the book is outstanding.
Adam's the 10th generation McBrayer. Look at that. And he's got a son that's the 11th.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's pretty amazing.
That's really cool.
And there's the website there, McBrayer Legacy Spirits /legacy. That whole website is a history book. You guys need to. That's probably one of the best websites that I've ever seen on a distiller.
Thank you.
Yeah,
it's like going back to 7th grade history.
And there's even more to add to it. Since I built that, we've learned a few more things and a couple other things, right? And
Silly Yorkie, we'll hook you up. For bragging rights.
Oh
yeah. We'll hook you up.
As far as this letter with the mash bill on it,
do
you have possession of that, or
I have a copy
you
of
have a copy,
right? So it is the original. It's at the Filson Society in Louisville.
Okay.
I in the book on my website on the blog site it says like Filson like Society or FHS but I have one. I paid them and then I got to take it off there. So in the book I have a nice copy of the letter. And things.
Brian says that Charlie wears the pullover as a nightshirt. There's nowhere to go with that. Let's just move on. That was pretty good.
That's good.
All right, guys.
So before we go, we do have the super chat.
Yeah, we're gonna do that right now.
Okay, so if you haven't entered yet, for every $5 in the super chat, you'll get the Batch 4, Batch 5, E.H. Taylor single barrel, and what was the other one? Barrel proof?
Yes.
Yeah, barrel proof. For every $5 super chat. So if you want to get in on that, we're going to draw it here shortly.
Yes. Hold on. There you go. 14. Let me make sure I got the right people. And we're going to double check too when we do this. You guys can keep talking.
So we got this coming out now. We'll probably do another blend of the old McBrayer Bottle and Bond. I'm starting to run pretty low on that. Those barrels are now getting close to 8 years old that I have. So I'm curious of what we can put together for some 8-year-old bottled and Bond. That'll be later this year, and then try to figure out what we're going to do on that piece of property. Right? See if we can get that business plan put together.
Any thoughts on a rye?
So I have been asked about rye a lot. The just getting these 3 labels kind of establishes a lot. I mean, a lot of these brands, right? The new brands, they have a label, right? And I've got 3 labels, 3 unique mash bills, and so that seems like a lot.
Yeah.
To not have some fatigue in your line and get some establishment and figure out, obviously this WH is a unique, limited thing, right? The old McBrayer, I think, is a real scalable type of label,
Right.
type of brand. And the Cedarbrook is just the special one, right? Like we're making that a wheated bourbon. I figured if it was good enough for Pappy, it was good enough for Old Fitzgerald.
Right.
Let's start there. Right. But I would really like to see that get to be 10 years old, 12 years old. Right. And so even old McBrayer, like, I don't want to be a 5-6-year-old brand. I want to be 8 years old, 10 years old, 12 years old, start to get those things established.
Right.
Right. It's just going to take time.
Right.
Right.
Okay.
And so doing a rye, we might do some one-off ryes at some point. Right. There are now barrels available. So, when we first started, there wasn't any barrels to get. It was so expensive. And it's like, well, we want to be able to do that. And this is how we started, right, to make it unique. And so we're going to keep building on that. I think it'd be fun to do some kind of heirloom rye, right? The Rosen ryes out of Pennsylvania, right? Did McBrayer ever do a rye? I don't think so. But people want to drink rye whiskey, right?
There are a lot of good rye whiskeys out there.
There are.
Now, you had mentioned your goal in this whole thing was to get him in the Hall of Fame.
Mm-hmm.
Are you actively?
So I think that is the Kentucky Distillers Hall of Fame.
Okay.
Right. He was a distiller. I think we probably need to get our distillery kind of as an NDP, trying to promote that, get that done. I think we really need to get kind of our foothold. I'd really love to get our old DSP number, right? The Cedarbrook Distillery was DSP number 44. Okay. The old McBrayer Distillery in New Market, Kentucky was DSP 17. Wow. And so both of those, when you go to Buffalo Trace and you see the old numbers, they're both on there. It's pretty cool. Yeah. And so I think that's kind of the next step is let's figure out what we can do on the property, at least get a building, get a still set up, see if we can get our DSP number, and then really start to go after trying to figure out some of these. There's not a lot of legacy guys in the Bourbon Hall of Fame, right?
That's weird, right?
Yeah. I don't even know if E.H. Taylor's in the Bourbon Hall of Fame.
I don't know.
That's a good question.
I don't think he is. There's not a place to go like.
That's one thing I'm surprised about.
They don't have a Bourbon Hall of Fame.
Like, why not have it in Frankfurt or Bardstown or something like that?
So
I don't understand that.
So here's what I have learned, right? So Bardstown, Kentucky is the Bourbon Hall, like
it's the bourbon
capital of the world, right?
That's what they claim. Yeah.
Well, you know who they offered it to first?
Who?
Lawrenceburg, Kentucky.
And they didn't want it.
They didn't want it because at the time there was a lot of religious folks running the city. It's a smaller town. They didn't want that to be. This is in the 60s, right?
Oh my goodness.
And so,
wow.
Lawrenceburg, Kentucky, Anderson County, that was the heartland of bourbon.
Okay.
In pre-prohibition.
Okay.
Like the best bourbon was made in Anderson County, Kentucky.
Wow.
And so to me, it's at least the pre-prohibition bourbon capital of the world. Right. And so, I think there's something that could be said for that. That they have, the old Commonwealth Distillery is now going in down there. Yeah. Right. It was where where Julius Van Winkle used to bottle Pappy and all that stuff. And that actually, that property is next to where J.H. McBrayer had his first distillery. Right. And so there was an attached piece of property. This gentleman was selling his house. He called me and he said, hey, I'm going to sell this. And these guys, they kind of want it, but the McBrayers are here first. Would you like to take it? Right. It's like, oh man. Yeah. And he pulled up stuff out of the ground. He said, this is from the old distillery, like little pieces of artifacts of, from things. And so, I think there's something that needs to be done for all these legacy names.
Yeah. No, I agree.
And the real stories, right? One of my new favorite authors in bourbon is Drew Hanisch, right?
Yes.
Whiskey Lore.
Whiskey Lore.
And that that book that he wrote was
Mhm.
just phenomenal.
Yes.
You know, if you have it for people out there, it's a great book.
Nice.
And I actually learned something about the McBrayer brand in that book.
Oh wow.
And I did I send that to you guys? I might have.
No.
I've got the book. I've read the book.
And so you know, during Prohibition, we didn't make any whiskey for several years. Right. So it was 1929. They first started making whiskey again,
Mhm.
and they started it at the Owensboro Distillery, Owensboro, Kentucky, like where Green River and all those guys
Yeah,
are.
Green
Right?
River.
So the very first distillate they laid down in 1929 was meant for the old McBrayer label.
No kidding.
So they went several years without making whiskey, and it was in the whiskey lore book.
Yeah.
Wow.
And
Right.
so
How cool is it?
it was. I'm like, that's awesome.
Oh my
Right?
god, that is awesome.
There's I read all the time. I read sometimes 2 and 3 books at a time. Right now, I'm reading The Mother of Bourbon, which is about
Yeah,
Mary Dowling.
Mary Dowling.
Yeah.
Right. So her house is next to where McBrayer's house used to be.
Right.
Right. And then you got the T.B. Rippey house across the street. And McBrayer sold him the land to build that big mansion on. Right. That
Yeah.
they have some whiskey events on every year and
Right.
every month. Right.
Yeah.
Whiskey Bill's asking, Bill, did you bring my bottles with you tonight?
Yes.
Okay.
They're here.
Okay. Well, there you go.
Okay.
So let's do the super chat. I know someone in the chat asked how it worked. I know there's some newer viewers on here. There is a
Well, real quick, if they ordered before tonight, the bottles are here, correct?
Yeah. But Whiskey Bill asked me to bring them by.
Oh, okay.
if they're in the super chat, if you're watching through your phone, there's a $ beside the comment. I think that's how that works. And then in that you punch the $, and they'll ask you for what donation you want to make to the channel. $5
It's a sliding
minimum.
bar. Yeah.
Sliding bar. $5 minimum to get you into the drawing. Each $5. So I know that Top Jimmy, Silly Yorkie, Shauna Carr, Charles Right Guy have put in multiple, like $10 in or $20 in. So you just do multiple of 5. So we're going to draw that here in a moment. I do want to get that out of the way, and that way we can get you guys to bed.
Yeah, Torp, I do still have to read the Bitcoin book.
So Torp, I don't read, so it ain't happening unless it's in a audio format and a podcast. It ain't happening. So I'm just being honest. William Hall, thanks for the super chat. I will put you down. Appreciate that. So far, we've been having luck with the last one in is the one that wins.
Yeah.
So I will put you down twice. Okay, we got that out of the way.
101 I saw, Torp. Last I saw was 101.
Okay. All right. So all right. So let's see here. Bill, can you bring bottles by? We'll leave the light on for you. Right. They're quite a few hours from here.
They're a couple minutes away.
And yeah.
Did I miss the fresh?
No, that's awesome. They don't miss a beat. They do not miss a beat. I love this chat. I love my viewers. I love our viewers
Great.
because they don't miss a beat.
Are you drinking it with me?
I don't care. I'm so damn used to it. It don't matter.
Well, do you want to earn it?
Do you want to earn it?
You want to earn your pour?
Okay, can I say something? Well, no, it's not like I'm gonna have Tourette's. I just freaking yell shit out.
No, but what I'm saying is, you know what you're not allowed to say in order to pour, to get a pour.
Is shit one of them?
Yes.
Well, I just said it twice.
Okay.
Well, that's one pour still. We'll do it together. Yes, William Hall, you were in it. I appreciate you for doing that.
You're not drinking it?
Hey, Top Jimmy, thanks again for the super chat. I appreciate you. You get
Thanks, Jimmy.
You get 4 more in that. We're gonna try this.
Hell House is worse than fresh.
Have you tried? Okay. Is it Rebecca? Who are we talking to? Rebecca or
I don't know.
Okay, so here's the thing. Thank you for joining Bourbon and Ballz. Here's what we're gonna do. All right. I'm gonna clip this whole entire interview and I'm gonna put it on Saturday.
Okay.
This is the part I will not.
So I can be honest.
You can be honest. I will not include this on Saturday.
Only these folks will know what I say.
I will not include this on Spotify. Only the people here will understand this. Is this my fresh?
It's your fresh.
Where's your pour? That's the judge.
That's not fresh.
Oh my god! What do you? It's bourbon.
Is it?
Promise you.
It's
Isn't that?
it's like got a smoky smell to it. Like
It is a 95 proof bourbon whiskey.
I'm gonna try.
What?
All right. I'll do it with you. Ready?
That one night you had to drink it like 6 times.
Yeah.
Oh,
Now, supposedly there are notes of honeysuckle,
No.
corn,
there's nothing honey about any of that.
vanilla.
It's like a spare tire, someone's catcher's mitt.
And there's supposedly oat, toffee, and
No.
chocolate.
None of that. None of that.
I don't want to talk bad about somebody's bourbon.
I understand that, but
Ooh.
I'm not going to put this inside of the show.
Oh,
It gives
that gives you the
It resets. It
Oh my-
resets you.
Oh,
doesn't it?
wow!
That's awesome.
I can't believe somebody put that in the bottle.
I am so glad.
Is,
Yeah.
is,
Uranus, you're right about
Like,
that.
why would anybody? Do,
Here's
why
my
would they
thing.
do that?
Like,
that's
wonder
bad
if
for
they-
bourbon.
like what? Thank you. I wonder if they would do what you did. Like they have a circle of people around, right? And they taste the whiskey.
Yeah.
And they all decide, all right, what's the best sample? And it's like, all right, let's bottle it. Like it's passed through so many hands,
It has to,
and it
right?
still got bottled.
now,
And somebody bought
Well, I did.
is Rob twice? Not twice. Is Rob still here?
I don't know if Rob's in here, but he thought it's part in his mouth.
Yeah, he said it was a.
He liked it. I don't understand that.
it. Really?
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, so, all right, guys.
Maybe we just got a back bottle.
Oh, that was something else.
No.
Let's do this. We're gonna do a duck race. It's gonna be in honor of last week's Derby. We're gonna do a horsey race. So if you guys would double check, I think I got everybody in here. I really do. Let me make sure I got Top Jimmy and William Hall were the last ones, and I believe I have them in here. Nope. Oh, I didn't add the rest of them. Hold on.
It's always a fun time for a drawing.
I love your
You know what I did
studio
last
down here, though. It's
you
great.
should have been here last week. What I did last week was I only put people's first names in here,
Yeah.
and there was a couple of Keiths. Keith freaking won the damn thing. So you know what I did? I
You
gave
had
it
to
to
pay
him.
them all.
I paid, yeah, both of them got it. And then someone else super chatted, and I forgot to put them in.
Oh,
So I had them win too.
well, there you go.
So that's the first time in super chat history that 3 people won one prize.
Well,
So I was very careful today and making sure I got everybody's.
Yep.
All right. It's like being a duck race spectator. If I win, great. Where the hell am I going to put that one? So, all right, here we go. Yes. All right, here we go. We're going to run this. I believe we have everybody in here. Press done. We're going to do. We'll do a minute. We'll do set. I will shuffle characters. Since you're the guest, pick a number 1 through, I don't know, 10.
lucky 7.
All right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Turn that down. I don't like listen to it. And there we go. So this is our super chat race.
All right.
And shout out to Charlie for updating the logo.
It took me like 6 months to update that logo because before like 2 weeks ago, I had week 2 of NFL football.
I might be a little bit behind. Yeah.
Yeah. So all right.
I
so,
understand.
Top Jimmy's in the right. He's in the lead. You don't want to be in the lead, but there's a lot of Top Jimmys in there. Keith is up there. Gandy's up there.
Man.
Bortner's
Well,
coming
the
up.
Kentucky Derby, it was awesome. Wasn't it?
That was great.
Yeah.
Wasn't it?
Yeah.
I can't believe he's not going to run for previous.
Oh, I know. All right, here we go. 15 seconds left, and Gandy's in the lead, which you don't want to be in the last few seconds because you know what happens. But let's see if he holds on.
He's holding on.
Oh wow, he is holding on. That's a first.
Uh-oh.
Five.
Oh,
Charles,
right
the
here.
right guy, maybe. Yep.
Oh.
Charles, I thought Candy had it for a
I
second.
thought he did too.
That's what they do to you. So congratulations, Charles. You win the premium pours. We will get, I promise you, I will get this out on Saturday. I promise you. If not, I will double the samples.
Wow.
Well, that's my way of getting it out there. So, all right, very good.
Well,
So congrats. And again, I appreciate you
Well,
coming on tonight.
thank you for all the support you've given us, both of you, and obviously the friendship we've started.
Yes.
And it's great, and that's what bourbon's about, right? Meeting people, getting a chance to just bond over something, and that's what makes this business so fun.
No, you're exactly right. So I appreciate you coming on.
Yeah, thank you.
And
Thank you. And thanks to everybody that
guys,
bought bourbon tonight, and I really appreciate it. And thanks for following our story, and I look forward to hopefully meeting all of you someday.
Bourbon on the Banks, and maybe June 7th.
And maybe June 7th.
All right.
That's right.
All right, guys. We'll see you later.
Thank you.
Cheers,
All right,
everybody.
Cheers.